Hi everyone. Originally, I wanted to do the media arrangement lesson for this week, but I think um, I'm gonna make a decision to wait until I come back to do that one and skip to the audio automation lesson because that will tie really nicely into your shape animation that you've been working on. So you can finalize it this week and add audio automation, which is really exciting. It'll really spruce things up, make your work much more exciting because what it allows you to do is it allows you um, to program certain properties of certain objects to be able to basically dance to your music. So you can have your objects fluctuating in scale or opacity or whatever property you want to try connecting to to uh, to the audio automation feature. Um, you'll have your that will allow you to have your work dancing to music, automatically moving to the music, and you don't have to do all that uh, tedious keyframing throughout your entire timeline because this feature will just do it for you beautifully. So it's really fun addition that you can add to your shape animation to keep things hopping along, literally to dance to the music. Okay, so I'm gonna jump into my shape animation and just go over the steps to doing the audio automation. I also sent you guys out invites to join the course on Canvas, and I think that I have the steps on Canvas if you want to have the steps in writing. So I'll have to go find that for you guys once you guys all get signed up or logged into Canvas. So make sure that you go to canvas.instructure.com and log in if you already have an account. If you don't, look in your email and accept the invitation, and then you can start an account and join the course. So, as I just put up, let's see, home, let's see, audio automation, the steps are there in that assignment. So we're going to go through those steps. So once you're in Canvas, let me just go to, let's see, make sure this is published. That'll help. And I'm going to look at this course in student view. So when you get into the course, then you can click on assignments, and you can click on the assignment that's the audio automation assignment. Let's see, where is that? It's here, audio automation. And I need to change the date. Sorry, the dates are not up to date. I'll be changing those soon. So the first step is import audio to your project, which hopefully you've gotten to do. That you've created some audio with GarageBand and you exported it into an AIF or WAV file, and you imported it to your shape animation project. So once you've imported it, then you can add it to your timeline. Hopefully you did that already too. And then with the audio layer highlighted in the timeline, then you're going to go up to animation, keyframe assistant, convert audio to keyframes. So I'm going to do that now. So I have my audio already in my timeline, so I select it to highlight it. And then I go up to animation, keyframe assistant, convert audio to keyframes, right? That's what it says, right? Animation, keyframe assistant, convert audio to keyframes. So animation, keyframe assistant, convert audio to keyframes. So now we have generated, by doing that, we've generated a separate new layer called audio amplitude, which it was created by analyzing the different amplitude fluctuation in audio levels that were in this this audio track. So if you open up the audio amplitude layer, you'll see in effects, you'll see that there are keyframes generated for left channel, right channel, and both channels. We only really need both channels, so we can select left channel, delete it, select right channel, delete it, press delete, open up both channels, and then if you zoom in by pressing the plus key, you can see that both channels has a slider which has keyframes for everywhere. That each of these keyframes have the data stored in them on the volume levels, the changing volume levels or amplitude levels in the audio track. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to use these keyframes that are generated by the changes in audio amplitude of this audio track or audio layer. We're going to use those fluctuations in audio amplitude keyframes to control other properties in the animation. So how do we do that? Let's look at let's look at the steps. So this part is what I just did. Step 3, I opened up effects and I deleted the left and right keyframes, and now I have just both channel keyframe slider property visible. And then step 4, very important, we're going to be adding what's called an expression to a property of any of the other of the video layers, such as a shape layer. We're going to add an expression to a property, and that property is the one we're going to control with our audio amplitude keyframes. So an easy way to add an expression, which an expression is a line of code that will control a property in a certain way so that you don't have to do all that painstaking labor of keyframing one keyframe at a time throughout the whole timeline. You can just let the expression create the automation and make it automatic. So it saves you time when you use expressions. They're just codes that are JavaScript based that can be added to control or automate certain properties. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and find something I want to animate at a certain point. Like maybe I want these circles to fluctuate in scale. So I go into circle, and open up circles. So that's contents. Or maybe I want to make it easier on myself and I just want to bring up the scale of the whole layer. So I can highlight circle layer and press S to just bring up the scale. And so this is the scale property for this layer. And let's say this is the property that I want to automate to audio amplitude. So I need to add an expression. So I'm going to just option click the stopwatch, and that's how you add an expression. Notice that before, what was the color of the scale properties? They were blue, like everything, all the other text. But now it's added this line of this is just dummy code. It's not going to do anything. But let me just go back. If I want to delete the expression, I can just select the code and press delete and click outside. Now this is the way scale was before, just with the blue numbers that I can manually change the size. So I can drag up. Actually, this is the wrong circle layer. Let me undo that. Command C. Which is the one that I want to do? Circle. Oh, bubbles. Let me do bubbles. So this is bubbles. So let's say I press S on bubbles. And so while the numbers are blue, there's no expression. I can manually change them. So this is scaling them. I'm going to undo that though. Command Z. So it's back to 100. Now if I want to add an expression to this property, I would hold the option key and option click in the stopwatch. Now the numbers are red. That means now something outside or external is going to control these numbers. An expression is going to control these numbers. To get the code to be the correct code that we need to connect audio amplitude to this scale property, we're going to need to go to what's called the expression pick whip. It comes with these expression tools that get added automatically when you add an expression to a property. There is the expression pick whip. We're going to need to use that to drag all the way up to the slider for the audio amplitude layer. So I'm just going to drag it and make the box go around the slider because that's what has all the keyframes. And then I need to make sure that I don't press return or anything to apply this, because that will add a character to the end of this code that's now been generated based on me dragging the pick whip to the slider. So I'm just going to click. I don't want to press return because that'll add another character and throw off the code. I want to click in empty gray area like right here, and that'll apply that scale automation. So now when I play this forward, whoops, this is loud. Oops. Okay. When I play this forward, you see what's happened to the circles. They're scaling, but their scale value is really small. So, and we're having issues with playback in real time. Okay, but the scale value is really small on these circles. I want them to kind of spread out more. So what I can do is I can go into the code, click on it, click at the very end of it, and I can do simple math like multiplication, division, subtraction, adding. I'm gonna multiply. I'm gonna use the if you use the asterisk key, that will symbolize multiplication. So I'm gonna do asterisk. That's like times 10. Let's say I want to multiply that scale automation by 10 times, and then I click outside. Remember, don't press return. Click outside in gray area to apply that, and then let me just see how that was looking now. Everything got much bigger. So there, those balls are flying, or bubbles are flying, moving much more, and moving to the music. Okay, and I could add something else to it, like if I wanted to add opacity, I can bring up opacity on the bubbles, so I can select the layer, and maybe I want to bring up opacity. I can press T or Shift T if I want to keep scale up. Shift T, and opacity I've done some keyframing on, so hopefully that doesn't destroy the keyframing I've done. Because there is keyframing at the beginning. But let's see what happens if I add option click to add on opacity to add the expression, and then I drag the pick whip up to the slider. Let's see what happens. And then I click outside to apply that. Now the bubbles are also fluctuating in opacity, but again it's very low, so let me click on the code, go to the end of it, and do times 20. And then the opacity should be a lot less than that. If I click outside. Okay. And I could do other properties. It doesn't have to be limited to just transform properties. It can be any property. Like, let's see. So that's with the expressions, and if I want to see, let's say I want to see it without the expression, I can disable the expression and just see it without the expression to compare. So now that's just opacity. So the bubbles are turning, rotating. That was my keyframing, but they're not dancing to the music. But when I enable the expression that I added, I can enable the expression, and then they're dancing to the music more. Yep. So that's what you can do. Just follow those steps. Log into Canvas at canvas.instructure.com. Make sure that you accept the invitation at your email, and then you can go to canvas.instructure.com and you can find the steps in the audio automation assignment. Find those steps everything that I just did are here in the steps, um, including, let's see, so what did I not go over yet? So I talked about option clicking the stopwatch to add the expression, then drag the expression pick whip from the property of the video layer to the slider of the audio amplitude layer, and click empty gray area to apply the expression code. Do not press enter. Edit the code by adding the multiplication with the asterisk, and that's it. So have fun with that.